Underdog Daily with BadgeBros, Jon and Nez here, and we got ourselves a hoops double header. What better way to kick off Dog Bowl week than doubling up with some basketball content today? Our friends over at Unabated are going to run the Set the Screen free of charge right after us at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. There is a link in the bio. There is a link in the description. You are going to be forwarded to said video after this one. So there's no excuse, Nez. There is no excuse to miss out on that pick'em glory, the money-making portion of the program that we took advantage of last time out.
That's all everybody cares about. They want the pick'ems. They want the pick'ems. They don't want to hear the nuance. They don't want to hear, Jon, about G leaguers that are on the injury report. They want the pick'ems. They want the goods right away. But you got to earn it. You got to earn it. You got to stick with us first.
Oh man, good stuff. Eggers, no, Jon is not fighting technology today. We got it all figured out.
We're pretty punctual today.
Yeah, we're punctual today. We were figuring out what this week's going to look like, because this week's going to be a little different. Obviously, with Dog Bowl, we're going to have some content coming your guys' way from Dog Bowl weekend. Obviously, Nez unfortunately will not be with us. He's on high alert, bags packed by the door, ready to go at any given moment for baby Nez. But we are gonna do some double dip stuff in the next 2 days here before the travel day and stuff to make sure you guys are taken care of. So gonna do some dinger and some basketball tomorrow, and then we are gonna do maybe some post combine big board stuff / dinger / basketball for you guys on Wednesday there as well. So we're gonna make sure there's a boatload of shows regardless of the shortened stint of a week here.
Got you covered. It's a good time of year. A lot to dive into with baseball and combine, pre-draft, NFL. It's a lot going on, but we could do it. We could do it.
And we got a lot of fun spring data. Like, one thing that we haven't talked about yet, because we've been inundated with the daily stuff and whatnot, is we got spring data now. Like, we got exit velos from minor league parks and stuff. We got guys with new pitches. Your boy Paul Skeens with a new cutter all of a sudden. Like, can the nastiest get even nastier? Who knows, right? So there's lots of stuff that we can be parsing through this time of year and chatting through. So I really want to make sure we get a bunch of that stuff out over the next couple days here.
Yeah, I got a lot to cover. I mean, it'll be news to me, half the stuff that we talk about, I'm sure. So
right, exactly. All right, Nez, let's take a little look. We're gonna do the full unabated 7-game breakdown here. We're still waiting on a couple injury reports there. I'm not gonna have 25 minutes of filibust in us today to try and get to that next injury report, but we will get some of that dropping mid-show for us. A lot of Q-tags to work through. Really fun slate that feels really wide open from kind of like the 4th and a half-ish round onward. I think you can really mix and match, and a lot of stuff's going to open up as the day goes on. Have you been feeling similar to me in that regard?
I don't know that I'm having a lot of fun right now, but it does feel pretty wide open. And I was last night taking a lot of BAM, this morning not taking a lot of BAM, and so like didn't lose too hard on the battle of the BAM fade, but I was definitely leaning him being out this morning. So that was shocking to see, not on the injury report, Khalil Ware out.
Yeah, especially when BAM was the guy with the Q tag coming into it. But if you guys were following along with our guy Juice McCaffrey, you would have known that Ware was going to be out, because he gave him the gold stamp of approval as a 6th round pick this morning.
Damn, I should have keep forgetting to check up on those threads.
The reverse Jewish McCaffrey mushes right now are just a hysterical bit. We love the guy. I love it so much. And it's just so funny how I would have been saying the exact same thing had I tweeted it. Was I'm a little soft on BAM right now, and I'm a little worried about Ware. Or I'm not really worried about Ware. And it would have materialized the same way. Nez, let's take a look at last night for the people here. Give a little shout out there. I didn't get anything in on Saturday, so if you have a Saturday shout out for the people, just because we haven't had a show since then. But John TW 1965, that OG Ananobi 55 burger went to overtime last night or yesterday rather. Yeah, I mean you needed that, and then you needed Q-Tag Ant Edwards versus the Suns to go nuke, and then fill in the blanks throughout there. So shout out to John here. Thoughts on yesterday's slate at all?
Hated it. Hated it. I had no OG Ananobi, and I had all of the Ant Edwards, all of the Zion, faded all the first rounders you needed to fade, and lost money because I didn't take any OG Ananobi. So I hated last night. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I mean, I was in lockstep with you there, dude. I did 53 entries yesterday, and I had 0 OG, not a single one of OG. Didn't even take him when he was falling later in the day there because I was taking the Cleo Wares of the world in the last round and shooting the moon on some Utah stuff and that sort of thing. So yeah, I was in lockstep with you. Shout out to our guy chat, top 25
TLC,
last night.
baby.
There you go. Well done. Well done. Yeah, we got a guy Andrew up here as well. You know, we got tons of people up here. Gumby was leading for a bit there, and duped himself, and yeah, unfortunately couldn't hang on there. Shout out to John Brooks there. Friday's slate, Nez, as you guys could see, your boy took a bath there. J Stag 16, only Pharrell, Roofing Man up there. Not bad. Not bad. Do you know who won Saturday, Nez?
It was Easy Mac 56 and Zoomer Man.
All right.
Shared first place for 303 total points.
Cool. Bunch of screen names we've never heard of, which is a good evergreen reminder to everyone who is not playing mass volume on this site that you too can still win by just finding the right combinations and playing plays that are different than everybody else. When the hashtag models don't get home, that's when the contrarian plays will get home. And as you guys can see, when there's not familiar names at the top of the leaderboard, that tends to be what took place. Nice. Okay, cool. Nez, let's move into today. Let's talk about the Q-Tags. Let's talk about the kind of macro lay of the land. I'll ask you the evergreen question. How many have you done right now, and how you feeling?
I feel all right.
Mm-hmm.
I've done 78 is the number right now,
Okay.
as far as the main slate goes. And as always, layup line and buzzer beater checked off the list as well. And very concentrated around the Hawks and Grizzlies game. So
yeah. So that checks out to me in a big way. There is a big outlier total on this slate. The second highest total game on the slate is the Jazz versus Pistons game, which is the last late night hammer there, and it's a 233.5. The Hawks and Grizzlies game is a 251, 252, depending where you're looking right now. So there is a big night and day comparison between both pace and overarching total, and just quality of players getting drafted as well, if we're being frank, there on this slate. So yes, I've been in lockstep with you, Nez. I've been trying to pack some bags with Trey in the first round. I was pushing up JJJ in a decent way, both as a hedge if Ja doesn't play this evening, and also as a, well, he's probably going to project better than a bunch of this tier anyways. So yeah, some of those teams from last night with JJJ in the second round are going to age pretty nicely here by the looks of it.
yeah. I'm I mean we'll get to it, but I'm very worried about Ja Morant playing.
Okay, cool. Well, let's start there because it is a Q tag, and it is actually, we could skip Sangoat for a second there because it is kind of like one of the most impactful push pull Q tags on the slate here with Ja Morant. It's a shoulder designation. He did not play last time out. As Nez has noted in the past, when you're dealing with Ja Morant, it's primarily upper body stuff, not lower body stuff, right? Like that was always your nugget of notion there.
Typically upper body.
Yeah. And there was kind of maybe not conflicting reports, but just reports that had different pieces of information tethered to it. So I'm going to find the exact wording of it, Nez, just so I don't butcher it for everyone here. But where am I going here? Okay. Underdog NBA right here in their tweet listed the status of John Morant's shoulder, attended shoot around Monday. That sounds
Present.
no, I'm reading this. Don't worry. I'm literally reading this verbatim right here. Their tweet, right?
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the first piece of information. That sounds awfully bullish to us as drafters, does it not? Like as you read that sentence, you're like, John Morant attended shoot around. This should be wheels up, right?
Usually, yes.
Yeah, usually that's how I would be reading it as well. Now, when I move on over to my guys at Unabated here, John Morant was present at shoot around, but did not do any shooting drills during the portion open to media. Remains questionable. That tells a completely different story to me, does it not? You know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is where we're at with John Morant. And depending how you read the situation and reading between the lines there, not sure, right? Yeah. So where are you at personally right now on John Morant?
I'm fading John Morant.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like he's cheap, so it's like a dangerous fade. Like the risk is baked in, but you're still I mean, the EV of your lineups, if he's out, clearly it just tanks. So it's risky. You know, there's a lot of wide range here because 250 total, massive total, and John Morant, if we knew he was playing, would be, you know, second round pick. So this is you know, you're getting him sometimes in the fourth round. It's risky. It's risky. I would not have 0 fourth round John Morant, but I'm also leaning that he does not play today.
Okay. Yeah, I personally have not seen him fall to the fourth round since this morning. Basically, since that report has come out on Underdog, he's been kind of a staple of the second and or third round. I actually saw some very intelligent players taking him at like the 1-2 turn and pushing him up all the way to like 11 and stuff like that, 11, 12, 13 in that vicinity. So, or I guess 2-3 turn. Sorry, my bad. From the one hole, 2-3 turn. Yeah. But yes, Leach in the chat saying, I think John Morant gets a Q tag after missing a game due to back to back. Like that is generally speaking, yeah, kind of what happens. Like he always has Q tags in these back to back scenarios. Today is not a back to back. So if you're just implying that the Q tag is lingering because the last time was a back to back, I think we're saying different things here because it actually was a legitimate shoulder that he missed the last game with, even if it was back to back, right?
Yep. Yeah. But he did not play against the Spurs, right? So
yeah, correct. Yeah.
I think that's what he's saying.
Yeah. Okay, Nez, if we are treating today as if John Morant is out, or in like your instance right now, you're soft fading him. Where does that place Desmond Bain and JJJ for you in your rankings? Because if you pencil those guys in for 33 to 35 minutes in competitive up tempo game against the Hawks, they're going to be popping off the chart.
Oh, definitely. I've got Jaren Jackson like pick 5 if
Okay.
that happens.
Do you have? Can I ask?
Desmond Bain like pick 12 if Jaw's out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your conditional mindset is you would move them to 7 and 12 if Jaw's out. Or you have them at 7 and 12 right now.
No. If Jaw's out, I would put JJJ 5.
5. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. The current status, like just treating with him with the Q, where did you have JJJ ranked on your initial runs? Did you have him ahead of Steph or Maxi?
Yeah, I had him 6.
Yeah. So did I. So did I. So like this is what I mean. Like I think the push pull isn't as strong as other contingent Q tags. Um because I think they're good plays in a vacuum regardless. So I'm happy just taking JJJ there. Like I think if you left it up to the hashtag models and Ja gets ruled out prior to tip, I think he might project player 3 on the slate or player 4 on the slate.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think we both have the same mindset here, which is like Jaw in. These guys are still pretty damn good plays. Jaw
Mm-hmm.
out, they're great plays. So it's pretty low risk, high reward type stuff with Jaw or with Jaren Jackson and Bane. Jaw is like high risk, high reward type stuff.
I love the dichotomy of our chat and just where people go with stuff. Like, OG guy Blake here, just like, if Ja ain't shooting, you gotta actually be worried or whatever. And then and then you get Justin with the full legit unabraided take of like our report definitely makes me more worried that he sits, but fans still has the conditional at 50% chance he plays tonight. So just noteworthy that despite their conditional despite their report sounding more bearish than the underdog did, they're still leaving him at 50%. They're not bumping him down as they're prone to do in certain situations to 45 or 40 in their
Yeah,
conditional runs.
I
Okay,
would I would I would agree with that.
cool. All right, Nez, let's talk about some of the other Q tags on the slate here. The Houston ones, a lot of moving pieces with Houston. Both Sengun, Amen Thompson, Dylan Brooks, and one other player. Oh, I guess I should just type in Houston. All had Q tags on the site. Tari Eason, and Steven Adams. Everyone was present at shoot around. Was the report in which we got there. Maybe I should double down on checking the wording of present or participating. The wording was present for all of them right now. How you treating the Houston Q tags?
I was pretty bearish at first.
Okay.
Excuse me. And now I am I'm definitely taking Shengun here. And where am I at on Amen? I think I'm less bullish on Amen today. No, pretty decent on Amen too. Looking like 20% just given the price. So like now that there's like that shoot around tweet to me, it made it made a difference for me. I was not really into those guys before, but now I am. So that's how I feel.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Somewhat in lockstep with you there. I was comfortable taking them to begin with. I was kind of soft baiting Jalen Green at ADP in relative terms because I did think the Q tags were more probable than out kind of thing. And
Hmm.
yeah, this is an interesting point from Eggers here. We're obviously haven't looked at the game by game stuff on Unabated yet, but the spread did in fact move from 11.5 to 8.5
It
versus
did.
OKC. So that's a big move. That's a big like, oh yeah, we're anticipating a different ball game than 4 hours ago.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, I think it's fair to react accordingly to that news for sure.
Okay, cool. I'll ask you about the probable tags. Jimmy Butler and Miles Bridges. Any concerns there?
I mean, like hard not to be a little concerned about Bridges,
Okay.
right?
All
I mean,
right.
he's got an illness, so
Yeah.
you never
Um,
know.
I'll speak to the progression of this. When they first brought it up yesterday, it was a Q tag and it was an illness, and then yesterday it changed to a probable tag, and
Okay,
then the probable tag carried on to today. So it has been
okay.
trending in the right direction, but I do think it is noteworthy that he was originally listed illness Q tag yesterday with the very first injury report filing.
Good to know. Good to know. I do now that you say that, I do remember getting that Miles Bridges now probable notification. I think I just had obviously just assumed that it was he went from, I assumed it was a downgrade. So good to know.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Normally, it's like the inverse scenario. Normally, you would be correct in assuming that. Yeah, that's why I thought it was important to note there. Okay, we're dealing with Paul George here. Paul George has been, playing through some stuff. We know Tyrese Maxey is playing through some stuff on his hand. Paul George has the finger wrapped. He quit podcasting. He came out and hooped for one slate. I guess maybe we'll give him the credit of hooping for more than just one slate here. But yeah, they get a spot tonight with Portland on the back-to-back, where Portland still hasn't filed yet. And Philadelphia has already filed a couple iterations that saw Kelly Oubre move down to questionable. PG has been questionable the entire time there, and then obviously Embiid is done for the year. So thoughts on the Philly guys right here? Likelihood of playing between them and how you're treating them.
Yeah, Paul George, I'm pretty concerned about, considering it's groins. It's a groin injury. So groins, I pretty serious stuff. You got to be careful with groin stuff. But if it's just soreness, and it's not like a strain or anything, then he might just play through it. It seems like he's going to play because the spread is favored towards Philly. Okay. And I mean, the Portland stuff has had the lines more favored toward their opponents than I would normally anticipate. But I still think that this line, to me, implies Paul George plays.
They play without Ayton last night, and Klingon plays 11 minutes and fouls out in those 11 minutes. And they take arguably the best team in the East to overtime last night. Like, we weren't kidding when we thought Portland was pesky, dude. Like, these are the Detroit Tigers, man. These are the Detroit Tigers of last year who sneak into the playoffs and somehow win a game or two. And people are like, wait a second here. I mean, Portland, I'm not saying draft them in the dance or that they could do any real damage or anything like that. But if they happen to win one of the play-in tournament games and then lost and then didn't make the playoffs, that wouldn't shock anybody, would it?
No, I don't think so. It shouldn't.
It shouldn't shock anyone. Yeah, that's a better frame of it. It shouldn't shock anybody because, yeah, man, this basketball team is, they're not getting enough respect right now. Anyways, we'll talk about it in the game by game there. Nez, other Q-tags that we are dealing with, the Miami stuff just dropped, which is Jaime Jaquez with a doubtful tag. Khalil Ware ruled out, but Andrew Wiggins, who has missed 3 in a row, I believe, 2 in a row, shortchanging my fellow Canadian there. He got dropped with the Q tag there. And then obviously we are dealing with, let's just talk about Miami for a half second there. Do you have any leans on Wiggins, and does it matter to you? Is he 6th round viable, 5th round viable?
I think he's going to be game time decision and definitely 6th round viable.
Okay, cool. So he will be in your player pool and someone you're mixing in against Washington.
Definitely.
Okay, cool. I like that one. Utah is, let's talk about Chet. Chet suffered an ankle injury. They were doing like the limited on back-to-backs and that sort of thing, and he was missing some back-to-backs. Then he ended up playing a back-to-back, breaking a slate with a 60 ball, and then the following night he rolls his ankle pretty severely, can't return after like 15 minutes, misses the next game, and now we're dealing with the Q tag tonight here. What do you think?
Yeah, I was feeling bearish, but I am surprised that we don't have an out tag. It's definitely interesting that we get the Q tag on this. So kind of have to respect it in that, like, you should probably be taking some 6th round Chet. I mean, the pick ems aren't like anything to like write home about or anything, but it's Chet, and he does have a ceiling thanks to the stock upside. And if he manages to play here, which I would be surprised if he does, but he might. I mean, he's got the Q tag, so you just have to just think, okay, what if he does play? Because it's officially a possibility. You probably don't want to have 0 in the 6th round.
Yeah. I will say too that he has the cleanest swaps on planet Earth because I haven't seen a single person take Isaiah Hartenstein yet, and Hartenstein looks so much better when Chet is out, and his floor is, we talk about bands of projection with a guy like Hartenstein, and it's really hard for him to break a slate and even do what OG did last night in terms of like a 55 ball in the 6th round. But if this is a more tightly contested slate and lower scoring on the whole, outside of maybe that Memphis and Atlanta game, like 35 points from the last round from Chet or from Hartenstein would just be like a little chef's kiss on a lot of good 5-round rosters, because the 6th round is, you're looking for some ceiling out here, and it maybe doesn't exist today if some of these Q tags break in different directions than we're anticipating.
Yep. Yeah, totally agree on Chet being very swappable. Very, very swappable.
Nez, the other ones that we could bring up is Utah. Utah is second night of a back-to-back. They did the rest everybody on the front end against the Pelicans, and then they paid the price last night by losing that ball game, or in their case, did exactly what they needed to do, is punt the first game of the back-to-back to make sure they lose to a full-strength Pelicans, or full-strength in quotations, Pelicans team. And now all of a sudden we can maybe filter in against a better Detroit team here some of these Q tags tonight. Lauri Markkanen has missed 3 in a row, 4 in a row. He's missed 4 in a row. Could potentially be back this evening. John Collins missed a bunch, then played, put up 40-something fantasy points, and then missed the Pelicans game. Could be back this evening as well there. Just thoughts on Utah Q tags, and are they guys you are getting to, and the push-pull dynamic with Walker Kessler? Does it change his value at all if some of these guys play this evening?
It probably does change Walker Kessler's value, but I am taking a lot of Walker Kessler just because I really like the spot, and I think that he should be fine. But I think I could definitely be underselling the the floor in a bad way on Walker Kessler if all these guys are healthy. All these guys being healthy, I don't really want any of them other than Kessler. And John Collins, though, does have 6-round viability. Like if he is in, like I think he's damn fine in the 6th round. But yeah, it's pretty gross. Definitely no keynote if these guys all play, and I'm good on Lauri.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I respect it in a big way there. I was taking a decent amount of John Collins earlier today, both for the flexibility and because I thought he was the fakest of the Q tags, where like he was just sitting out front end back to back. Chet Holmgren available to play Monday. Just got the Unabated notification coming through on my watch here. So to answer your question, Ghost AF, was it a real Q tag, or was it officially filed off the back-to-back? It was not officially filed yet. This is them officially filing right now as we speak. So I'll bring up that newest injury report as we do the game by game. Hit it with the refresh like 37 times here until it pops up on my screen. So Chet is in. Nez, with this newfound information on Chet, where would you rank Chet amongst the back end of ADPs?
Probably like, let's see here. This is like kind of deep-ish. Ahead of probably ahead of Walker Kessler.
Ahead of Walker Kessler. So next to Onyeka Okongwu, probably 23, 24, 25-ish ADP for Nez.
Yeah.
Seems fair. Seems entirely reasonable. Seems like he might even project a little bit better than that. If you just had to guess where Unabated has him projected today, what position number would you think that would be?
Probably like 24, 25.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to get to a crazy high projection unless you're just like feeling it. Because his pick'ems aren't like anything out of this world. So
okay.
It might have to it's going to take a minute to refresh on Underdog. Cool. Once they account for this injury report. But yeah, I mean, I would think that unless we just get like an entirely new slate of pick'ems for Chet here. I think it's hard to get him past like pick 20 because the top end of today isn't that crazy outside of Shea, but it's pretty deep. Those first 4 rounds are really deep.
Yeah.
Wow. Breaking news from Jay. Breaking news. Chet not on the injury report. Thank you, Jay.
There you go, Jay. Got it.
Breaking news.
Nailed it. Isaiah Joe was ruled out alongside that as well. He's missed a couple now. So yeah.
You're gonna ask me if we can get to Aaron Wiggins today now?
You wish, buddy. I think we nailed most of the Q tags there. We didn't really have a stance. Santi Aldama was just hit with a Q tag as well in that Memphis one. I mean, it doesn't matter to our player pool, but it is just noteworthy of a team that we've talked about extensively wanting to run like 10 deep. That if you end up with no Ja and no Santi, like I don't know if that opens something else up or just solidifies minutes for both Bane and JJJ. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, I think Santi sits.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And I don't know like who that makes viable outside of Bane and Jaren Jackson.
Yeah, I know for a fact right now, if the slate started right now and we had Ja ruled out, I know for a fact that I would have some Luke Kennard in my life in the last round. That's kind of like
I was gonna get
only
to him.
Other player.
I was gonna get to him against the Spurs. That whenever Ja sat.
Yep.
And then they didn't start him, and then they started Santi, so I ended up getting to Santi instead there. But he still had a nice game. So,
if hypothetical scenario, Ja Morant sits this evening, I would pencil it in as Kennard, Bane, Wells, JJJ, Edey as the starting 5. That's what I would do. Yeah. And that would make me, I mean, they got a 130-ish implied on their side. Like just for context sake, that is 25 points higher implied team total than the Wizards without, pool party today. Like it's
crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts that like getting to like the 4th piece of Memphis is probably more viable than trying to pinpoint who's going to have a handling role for the starting unit of Washington.
Yeah, I don't have a single Washington player ranked.
Right. Yeah, I know, right? That's it. And that seems entirely reasonable. They would be purely like value on redacted and not for us. Let's move on over Nez to the beautiful interface that is Unabated at top. We got more people hanging out now, 200 of us. They will be running their Set the Screen show right after us today, free of charge. Normally resides behind the paywall on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You guys will be funneled over there with a redirect right after this, so you don't even have to go anywhere to watch that one. Or if we happen to end a little bit earlier than that, there is a link in both the bio and in the chat right now and in the tweet in which I will send out in a bit here. So there's no excuse to miss that one. Those guys are so good at what they do, and they got us an 11xer pick 'em home last time out with their money-making portion of the program when the projections dropped. Sorry, I'm fumbling for words there all of a sudden. Okay, Nez, let's start. I'm frantically refreshing this NBA injury report. There we go. Now I finally got the 230. There we go. Anyone who is deep in the streets knows that it can be finicky at times. First game on the slate here, Nez. We have 2 in this first window, 7 p.m. Eastern window. First being Philadelphia 76ers, who are 2.5-point favorites at home against the Portland Trailblazers. This is a 229 total there. It is second night of a back-to-back for Portland. They have already ruled out DeAndre Ayton, who they've been out without for a while, and Time Lord Robert Williams III. They've been out without for a while. Then, some G Leaguers and Matisse Thybulle hasn't played this year. And then they've most notably ruled out Jeremy Grant. Also bullish that there are no Q-tags on the back-to-the-back here. Was kind of, Windhursting a potential Denny Avdia Q-tag after he smashed yesterday for 30, 12, and 10. Was a little shook or a little scared that one might potentially be coming. But yeah, Portland side here, dude. Denny Avdia, basically the only guy getting drafted and getting drafted in the 5th round over and over again. Anyone else you want to get to in this matchup from the Portland side?
I think Simons.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, Simons I think is definitely draftable on this slate. But Denny's been playing better. Denny looks better, but Simons is for sure draftable, and Shaden Sharp too. I think you can probably get to some Shaden Sharp on this one in the 6th round if you really wanted to.
Yeah, Shaden Sharp's had some really nice box scores in recent memory. Just important to note that it's been Scoot Henderson coming off the bench, not Shaden Sharp. Shaden Sharp's been the guy who's been the benefactor of drawing into that starting lineup. I know we've talked about it throughout the year and last year too, about how those two would flip flop. And sometimes when one was going good and the other one was going good, they would flip into the starting lineup and vice versa. It's been Sharp for the majority of recent memory. People want me to talk about all the fun nicknames we came up with Tumani Kamara for last weekend. I can't even remember some of them when we were comping him to P jail. But this is becoming a narrative, dude, that he puts the Tumani clamp Maras down on opposing players there. Any concerns for anyone going up against Tumani Kamara this evening?
I not necessarily, but the Sixers are going to be interesting to talk about for sure.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Let's talk about that Sixers injury report. Obviously, Joel Embiid, as we alluded to, done for the year. Pretty sad, man, just to see how many games, you keep getting the graphic that keeps popping up about, in his 8-year, 9-year career, whatever it is, he's missed 450 games and he's played only 420 something. I mean, just a big man who is so talented, who, whatever you think of Joel Embiid, on and off the court, like he's good for the game of basketball. I know he's such a pain and headache for us to deal with in our games, but like when he's out there, like you want to see him out there, and it's such a shame that you won't see him out there the remainder of this year. This whole team is kind of just broke wrong with injuries. But yeah, we got Yabusele with available tag, and then we got the late ad for an illness to Kelly Oubre Q-tag. We talk about those being a death sentence, midday illness downgrades, and then Paul George is listed with that left groin soreness Q-tag. Yeah, and then Maxi's not listed on here, but we do know he's not playing at 100% here. His shooting hand has been bricking everything, and they're talking about him shooting with only 3 fingers and this sort of stuff. So, yeah, thoughts on the Sixers side, draftable pieces, and where you want to go, Nez?
Yeah, so everybody is like deathly afraid of this Maxi stuff. Like they're very much worried about it. But I implore you, if you're so certain that Maxi cannot put the ball in the hole anymore, navigate to underdogfantasy.com/pick-m and go type in Tyrese Maxey and hit every single lower you can find, because 39.5 PRA, 47 fantasy point projection today. Wow. 47. So if you think Tyrese Maxey can't shoot, there's your answer. Take the lowers because they're right there. Okay. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I like who's smarter here? Me or the markets. And I don't know. I think I'd probably just draft Tyrese Maxey because nobody wants to, and he looks like the 3rd best player on today's slate. But it's scary.
Okay,
it's scary.
This is interesting. This is very good. Markets versus brain versus bro science versus what the eye test says right now. Do you think Maxey is a better play than Trae Young today?
No.
Okay. So Trae Young would then be player 3. Maxey or JJJ?
I mean, I've been drafting JJJ, but like Maxey projects better. but I'm drafting JJJ over him.
So we're all looking for the guy, and we found the guy.
I mean, I'm just one of the guys. I'm just one of the guys.
Yeah, no,
But,
I'm in
like-
lockstep with you, man. I was taking Maxey at 5 or 6. Like, that was kind of my stopgap. I'd rather have Maxey than Steph tonight, and Steph's been balling the F out and put up 56 against what we deem a decent Orlando defense, though that's debatable without Suggs at this point in time. But, like, yeah, like Steph or Maxey this evening.
Maxey.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, man. There's just so much usage to go around here. I do think PJ draws the Al Kamara Traz matchup more so than oddball defense for Maxey. I'm willing to just go like, hey, man, this is a bad shooting spell, bad stretch for him, and he can right the ship this evening as 2.5-point favorites in surprisingly not like the highest total on the slate, but a surprisingly palatable total on a slate where there's just one outlying game, right?
No, I know. There's like something going on here with this one. It's very interesting. So yeah, Maxey's a big puzzle piece here. And the other one is Grimes, who Grimes 60 fantasy points last time out, shot like 90%. I think you need Oubre out for him to be viable because, we like Grimes. We've liked Grimes. 60 fantasy points is not who Grimes is. That's just not who he is. But if Oubre is out, I do like Grimes. I do like Grimes. So
that
I need Oubre out, and it does seem like he's going to be out with the late Q tag.
Right. Let's talk about the 6th round for a second with the conversation of Grimes. Grimes is undoubtedly going to be the highest owned of like this kind of next tier we talk about. But when you talk about projections with Kelly O in, he will not, project in the same kind of like breath, right? Who would you rather play this evening, John Collins or Quentin Grimes?
If they're both in?
Yeah.
John Collins.
Andrew Wiggins or Quentin Grimes if they're in?
Wiggins.
Hartenstein or Grimes?
Grimes.
Okay. So there's a kind of a stopgap for you. Beasley's been shooting the lights out. Like Beasley getting shots up or Grimes?
Probably Grimes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you're literally just looking for ownership discount if you go as far down as Beasley. Okay, good little exercise there. Keep your eyes out for the Kelly Oubre. It was a downgrade. It was an illness there. I guess the last one I could ask you is Simons, Sharp, or Grimes?
In that order, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so both the Portland pieces over the 76ers, where if Kelly Oubre is in this evening, if Kelly Oubre is out, where do you think Grimes' ADP should be?
Like 32.
Okay, yeah, so he doesn't get like some astronomical boost because you're still
no. He was a bad
Short.
pick with Oubre presumed in.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like where your head's at, and I'm pretty much in lockstep with you there, Nez. I'm a little like Windhurst moments treating Kelly Oubre like he's out right now, which makes him
100%.
draftable. But that being said, like he's only in that 32 range. Like he would push up if PG trended in the wrong direction, but this spread is telling us that PG is playing basketball this evening.
I agree.
Okay. Let's do the next one here. Warriors. I almost said Warnets. Warnets
and Warriors.
Hornets and Warriors. We got the Warriors and Hornets in this one. 228.5. Road favorites by a big way here. 12.5 for the Warriors side there. Let me get this official injury report up here. We have the Hornets on a back-to-back ? No. They played on Saturday, and the Saturday was when LaMelo Ball missed. It was Saturday's slate. But we are dealing with probable tags on Miles Bridges. That is an illness. We talked about how that one went from Q-tag yesterday to probable today. So that one's trending the right direction. Seth Curry has a probable tag. Taj Gibson has a Q-tag. Yeah, nothing else we really care about. KJ Simpson is out with the G League stuff. Josh Okogie is out. Guys who have factored into the rotation at times throughout this year, but never when the team is at full strength kind of deal. And then on the other side, we got Jimmy Butler with a probable tag, and we got Quentin Post with a probable tag, still without Jonathan Kuminga. Steph, Draymond, I'll say it in order. Steph, Jimmy Butler, Draymond going in the majority of drafts so far for the Warriors in that order. How do you feel about each of them at ADP? And if there's anyone else you want to get to on the Warriors?
No, I mean, Steph, basically just Steph. I don't think I got any other Warrior in my player pool right now. I see Draymond like in the 6th round, but I've never clicked him. It's just Steph for me. I don't even like Steph that much here.
I agree with you, bro.
That's a weird one.
Yeah, it feels like one of those classic nights where you're gonna get 28 there's no science associated with this, Nez, but it just feels like one of those nights that you're gonna get 28 fantasy points from Draymond. You're gonna get 36 from Steph. You're gonna get 31 from Jimmy Butler, and you're gonna get 28 from Pods, and you're gonna win. They're gonna win the basketball game by 15, and none of them are gonna matter for fantasy.
Yeah, I did forget about Jimmy. That was my fault. Jimmy, I have drafted Jimmy, but I don't love Jimmy. But I am drafting Jimmy, but I don't love him.
Okay. Potential Windhurst moment here that I love that Big Funchy hit this as soon as I was going to say it. This is the big Windhurst moment of the day for me, Nez. 12.5-point favorites versus Charlotte. Front end back-to-back, where we know Steph, he's been playing on back-to-backs right now, but we know the narrative was always, Kerr would say Steph and Draymond might not play on back-to-backs, that sort of deal. They are playing at MSG, nationally televised on TNT tomorrow. Any thoughts on that one?
That's some awesome gal brain. Wow. I don't know. I don't know. Keep your ears to the streets on the Steph injury report, I guess.
Here's some even further gal brain. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Steph versus Seth, with Dell calling the game for Charlotte. Homecoming narrative. Steph versus brother with his dad on the broadcast on the other side. Steph filling it up tonight narrative.
It's Curry family reunion, man.
Yeah, dude, this is there are nasty ways this could break. This is truly sick with the narratives.
Wow, that would make Jimmy. What if they just played Jimmy? Wow.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. There's a lot of ways this one could break. Let's move on to the Hornets side there, Nez. Melo's been very frustrating, as he's prone to be from a fantasy standpoint. We kind of walked through that injury report. This is kind of like the most full in which the Hornets have looked in a while. They have an abundance of bodies right now. Like they got dudes that they're signing off the street and stuff, like Malachi Flynn and whatever. Like they have like 14, 15 of these bodies available here. But you got a dense strength of roster center rotation with Mark Williams, Nurk, and Diabates. You got Melo out here. You got the probable tag, Bridges. Just ways in which this one could break. Are you excited to get to any of these? It is a kind of tough defensive matchup versus the Warriors with Jimmy Butler in the equation there. Are you excited to get to any of these guys?
Kinda, a little bit.
Talk me through it. Who do you like?
I mean, dude, Mark Williams kind of balling a little bit.
Yeah. Last couple games out, putting up 50 fantasy points or thereabouts.
Yeah, I mean, it's against weak competition, but what I really like to see is that he's getting the minutes again. For a while he was back, not playing back to backs, only playing 20 minutes. Now it seems like the minutes are back up. I'm a little interested in that, in Mark Williams at home here. Uh, LaMelo, I'm really not interested in. It's been a while. I can't remember the last time LaMelo had like a decent fantasy score. He falls quite a bit. Not really into that. Um, and then Bridges, when Miles Bridges falls to like the 20s, like I've seen Miles Bridges has fallen to me at like 22. I take Miles Bridges at 22. But
Okay.
really, I just like want to believe in Mark. I really want to believe in Mark.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like he has a very frothy ADP. We've done this song and dance with Mark Williams a couple times where Big Mark Dub gets disrespected. The models will have him way lower than this. We'll talk it down as like the worst ADP on the board. And then what does Big Mark Dub do? Well, he goes 4 stocks, 12 boards, and finds a way to murder you in the streets here. It is a true like ball knowers versus projection thing. And if you're just only playing the projections, you are basically going to get 0 Mark Williams today, and you will take LaMelo Ball over him every single time. That's basically the sentiment of what projection models are going to tell you today. But you're talking about not wanting to get caught with your pants down here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I will be taking Bam over Mark Williams moving
Okay.
forward, but
Yep.
I think Mark Williams has a ceiling pretty clearly. And for me, it was like, are we ever going to see Mark Williams get minutes again? Like, oh, he's getting minutes again. That's all I needed to hear.
Yeah, right. That's so true. Yeah, it's interesting that Nurk had some nice starts mixed in there and stuff like that, but this is really a situation that they're not splitting the 48. Like this is Mark Williams' role. Like this is Mark Williams if he's going nice. They're not afraid to stretch him in a competitive game.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Now does 12.5 imply the spread imply competitive game this evening? Debatable, but we will see. Yeah. Okay, Nez, let's move on here. Miami Heat and Washington Wizards. Heat only. I say this only 7.5 point favorites at home this evening. This is the lowest total on the slate. Normally a pace up spot here versus the Wiz, but that not necessarily the truth of the matter without Jordan Poole and how they've brought in all these new shifting pieces. It's really hard to look at pace metrics for a team on the season when you're like, this isn't even close to the team on the season, Like you take Kuzma out, you put Middleton in. There's no Jordan Poole here. Marcus Smart playing off the bench might slow some things down. Like I don't know. Just thinking out loud in terms of like we used to get kind of like frothy about a Wizards pace up matchup, but I'm not sure that that's entirely true with this iteration of their roster. As I mentioned, Jordan Poole is out there. Malcolm Brogdon is missing more time here. At least I think the report said at least a week or two. Yeah, so that's going to bring in, probably Bub Carrington, Balil Coulibaly, Middleton, Sar, George, something like that as a starting group. People are telling us Narrative Street. It's Corey Kispert's birthday today here. Yeah, I don't know that I can get to a single Wizard player today comfortably, not even as a scroll in the last round. But gun to my head, I don't know. Balil will project the best. Bub Carrington and Justin Champagne have the highest ceilings. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd get to Bilal and that's it. I'm not even doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Miami side, Bam and Hero look awesome. So I definitely want to start loading up on those guys. And then
Yep.
Wiggins is available at like pick 36 quite a bit. So I have a massive amount of Andrew Wiggins right now.
Okay, cool. I like that shout for sure. The Heat, we've talked about how their rotation, even on the best of nights, is one of the hardest to parse through. Like everybody got caught with their pants down with the Kyle Anderson stuff midweek last week. Alec Burks started, not out of nowhere, but like kind of out of nowhere. Alec Burks starting for them. Anticipate that potentially happening again tonight without Ware. Yeah, Hero Davion, Bam, Wiggins, and then insert someone else like Duncan Robinson, Highsmith, Burks, or Slow-Mo. I don't know. It's going to be one of them. But, they're probably only going to be like 10, 11 deep tonight. So, yeah, really aping into the handling stuff of Hero and just Bam, evergreen reminder of centers versus Wiz, even after Joe Val left, is still a narrative there. Yeah, cool. Anyone else that you want to possibly mention that is draft viable from this game?
No, I think I just just did so. Nothing
Okay.
really else to say here.
Yeah, I agree with you there, my friend. All right, highest total on the slate, fastest game on the slate. Reminder that Memphis plays fast, but they also have a decent defense. But as Nez will be quick to remind you, it doesn't fucking matter when both teams put up 130 versus each other. I don't know. I don't care how good the defense is. So 251 here, 8.5 by way of the Grizz. I don't know if that tells you anything about the potential availability of John Morant there. We kind of did that all at the beginning of the program. If you guys want to go back and check that out. Santi Aldama was also added to the injury report there with right calf soreness as a Q tag. John Morant, it was the shoulder, and we went through the whole report associated with that one. And then on the Hawks side, still without Vit, still without Larry Nance Jr., and going to be out without George Niang, who played almost 30 minutes the other night with the illness. Obviously, we got to remind everybody that Trae Young is listed with a probable tag. It is that same right Achilles tendonitis he's been listed all season long with there. Yeah, Ness, we've kind of talked through this one, but thoughts on this one in general relative to the ADPs, and then maybe some of the pieces we haven't talked about yet, like Dyson Daniels and Onyeka Okongwu, some of these kind of guys, if you're above or below market on them.
Yeah, I like everybody in this game. Dyson Daniels at ADP, Trae Young, I have taken ahead of Kyrie quite a bit today. Onyeka, I think Onyeka can be taken as early as like 18 today. You can flip flop him and Dyson sometimes, and then not doing this, but I think Karis LeVert also can be thought about in the 6th round today for Atlanta.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a name that I hadn't thought about yet there, but that's probably a very good shout, dude. Yeah, like just a guy who can fill it up off the bench there and fill it up quickly. If he finds his way, I don't know, 31 in an up tempo game where they don't need the size of Mo Gay in that starting lineup and they can play a little bit smaller with just a NECA. Yeah, that's probably a pretty good shot there, dude, that I hadn't considered. Any love for Ricochet playing a bunch of minutes?
It doesn't look like someone that I'm going to be getting to today.
Okay.
No. Last game out, he did play 31 against OKC. Just like the ceiling just really hasn't been there from him from an output standpoint.
All right. Sounds good to me, man. We did the Grizz thing. We walked through all the potential, push pull dynamics of John Morant in, John Morant out. I guess one name that we didn't say was Scottie Pippen Jr. could end up starting again instead of Luke Kennard this evening. But we've talked about Scottie Pippen Jr., how it's just like not a ceiling worth chasing, and he's almost always soft capped at that like 25 to 28 because they have so many other handlers that they want to mix in on the nights without John Morant as well. So probably still won't be getting there this evening, but he might end up projecting the best of them if he gets the starting gig with Jaw out. Would you have any love there?
I would definitely consider it.
Okay.
Just thinking about how they would match up with Atlanta if no Jaw and Santi. I could see Scottie Pippen playing close to 30. So I would definitely consider it, but I no guarantee that I would have any significant share of him, but it's definitely interesting.
Any potential bearish thoughts in your mind on Desmond Bane and Desmond Bane at ADP right now, getting the both because he's propped up as a contingent off of Ja Morant, and also because he might get the Great Barrier Thief Desmond Daniels or Dyson Daniels Dyson Daniels treatment.
No, I'm never really too worried about like Dyson being on players. I just draft Dyson for the stocks. No, the Desmond Bane ADP is very interesting because like it's fully baked in that Ja is out with that. Like, there's no other reason he would be ahead of Ja unless you think Ja is out. So if you take Desmond Bane, it would be pretty silly to take Ja Morant on that team.
It feels very similar to Naz Reid last night.
With Julius Randle?
No, just like on the slate in general. You had a Q-Tag in Anthony Edwards, and Naz Reid's price tag was priced up as if, Ant was out and box score chasing of the past. Whereas, like, yeah, obviously Julius Randle was coming back, and that wasn't really factored in. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have like any Naz Reid last night.
Therein lies my point, because you were on the Anthony Edwards side of the equation, right?
30% Anthony Edwards, John.
Yeah, high scoring player on the slate.
Didn't amount to jack shit. Unbelievable.
Oh, you hate to see it. All right, Nez. Let's move on. People in the chat asking about Luke Kennard love. Yeah, I talked about that one a little bit earlier there. Oh, Draymond's birthday tomorrow at the Garden. He is undoubtedly getting kicked out. That is that's peak entertainment. Nas just shot 0 for 20 last night. Doesn't necessarily, yeah, that's true. All right. Justin adding some context to the Scottie Pippen Jr. stuff. Decent defender. I think he would get a good amount of run out there on Trey. Okay, cool. Interesting side nugget there for the potential of Ja being out. All right, Nez, let's move on to OKC and the Rockets here. This spread has moved multiple times now. It moved to 11, and then it moved to 8.5 when all the Rockets guys went through shoot around, and then we got Chet ruled in, which was, not something that everyone was anticipating. But yeah, let's just talk through. OKC has SGA at 101. And then you have J-Dub, who had a big night last night, broke the slate with like 63 or 64 fantasy points from the third and fourth round there. Isaiah Joe has been ruled out of this one. And Hartenstein listed available to play and available for free in the sixth round. Maybe it's easier to do Thunder first, and then I'll read Rockets injury report. Any other Thunder piece draftable outside of those three, Nez? And where are you ranking SGA and J-Dub? Is SGA your 101 today?
Yeah, I'm taking SGA 101. J-Dub, let's see exactly how much Jalen Williams I have right now.
Okay.
Way more than I expected to see here. Interesting. Yeah, I've been getting him late, so that explains it. But like, did not expect that this much J-Dub. Not gonna have a lot of J-Dub for the rest of the day. I can't imagine.
Okay. Would you rather have Desmond Bane ranked ahead of him?
I think so. Yeah, I think I would have Desmond Bane over him. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, here's a good point from Nick that Bane can get there with Ja in anyway. So like not like a big deal versus Nas really needs those guys dead to get there. Kind of feel similarly.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in Minnesota. Love Nas, but he's definitely a usage opened up merchant.
Okay. Yeah, but he's also that's framed poorly because he's also a fucking hooper. He's dope.
He is, but
yeah. Like he's a usage merchant that's like really fun to play. He's not Kareem Hunt out here.
It will be awesome if he has an ADP in the third round next slate. It will be awesome. That'll be like the easiest fade of all time.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Keep your ears to the ground on that one for tomorrow. Yeah, anything else you want to say? Obviously, we did the chat ranking already. Roll the tape back there, guys. Nez moved him up into like the 26, 20-ish range, just above Walker Kessler. Now that he's been ruled in, and SGA is your 101. Anyone else you can get to in the last round? Is Hartenstein fine, or are you full fading anyone else on OKC this evening? Did I lose you? Oh, you're muted. That's
My
my
fault.
problem.
My fault. I thought I unmuted myself. Um, no Hartenstein for me,
Mhm.
but
Okay.
I think Chet will project better than I initially suggested,
Mhm.
and I think he's probably, if I was to number it, probably like player 18 or 19. I think he cracks the top 20
Okay.
once
Yeah,
on a
no, I
daily
respect
basis.
that. I think that's where he'll project too. I think he'll project in that vicinity. I mean, not the greatest matchup in the world and not as tempo laden as we would like. This could just be like a good solid basketball game with everybody in here, but yeah, I mean just relative to the barometer of talent at the back end of drafts, he will push up above that grouping. I agree with you, Ness. Okay, let's talk about the Rockets here. We did the everyone participated in shoot around narrative, not present, but participated, I think. Or was it present? Damn it. Now I've confused myself again.
I'm not even sure.
I am going back for the people. Here you go. Underdog's wording. Present at shoot around Monday. That was Amin Thompson, Dylan Brooks, Steven Adams, and Alfred Shangoon, who all have the Q tag as of right now. So, by the sounds of it, all trending in the right direction. Obviously, they're still without Fred VanVleet, who has the out tag there. Yeah, that's kind of everything that's noteworthy on their side of the ball. Nez, relative to these ADPs, targets of yours, guys you want to be on, not on, what are you thinking?
Um, this is tough. This is tough. I am kind of taking Shingun and Thompson at ADP quite a bit, so
Okay.
that could really suck if these guys sit. But I don't think they sit. You know,
Mhm.
I really don't think they do. I just think that the spread is what it is because the Thunder are kicking ass, and also no Fred VanVleet. So
Yeah.
I am, yeah. Jalen Green is the toughest one for me. Like, I don't, I can't decide what I want to do with Jalen Green today, but he seems fine at ADP.
Mhm.
But I think I am leaning out on Jalen Green. Not out, obviously, in the game. Me personally, fade on Jalen Green, I think.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, he was definitely a follower in rooms this morning when I was doing some hand drafts and stuff like that. He was the cap casualty of this whole like ADP landscape because people were treating these guys as in. And then they were like, dude, Jalen's just like a band of projection of like 28 to 36, and he never falls into stocks. And even when he has the lead handling role, he doesn't dish dimes. It's actually been kind of like Dylan Brooks, who's been spiking a little bit more. And now, obviously, they have Jabari Smith Jr. back in the mix, though he's not starting, but just another guy who, with that second unit, they don't need Jalen to just go nuke and score the whole time for the second unit. We have other basketball players who can get it done. So, yeah, it's an interesting push pull there where I'm in the same camp as you, as Jalen was kind of like a soft fade in a tough defensive matchup.
Exactly. Yeah. This is the one time where I will kind of sweat the defensive matchup for Jalen Green.
Mm-hmm. Um. Okay. Cool. Mike, we've already got Chet ruled in, my friend. So,
Come on,
uh,
Mike.
come on, Mike. Keep up, my friend. Keep up.
Real
Um.
Mike Bradley. Come on, dude.
um. One other thing that I will just say is these games right now are starting to get really important in terms of seeding in the Western Conference because 2 through 5 is like 2 games apart, dude. It's 38 wins, 39 wins, 38 wins, 37 wins. Then there's a little bit of a cliff where you go down to the Clippers, the Wolves, the Kings, the Mavs, all kind of like scratching and clawing. When we did the dance show, Nez, I guess with Pete 2 weeks ago now, or was that even a week ago now? We were talking about pushing up Luca and LeBron to that 106 and stacking them together. That's going to be the new norm now that they're second in the West. And the Mavericks, when we did that show, they were like fifth in the West. And now the Mavericks are 10th in the West and like barely ahead of the Suns here. I mean, it's so wide open right now that all these games matter so much, especially when you could try and take one from a team above you in the Thunder.
Well said. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, cool. Let's move on here. Those aforementioned Kings and Mavs there. This one is a 232, and the Kings are 1.5-point road favorites. Not gonna lie, I expected the Kings to be a little bit more of favorites here because the Mavs are really scraping and clawing the bottom of the barrel right now. Oh, we just got Lauri Markkanen ruled out. We just got Jordan Clarkson ruled out. So those are good to get all that information prior to talking about the next game, as you guys can see on the right-hand side of the screen here. But yeah, the Mavericks, dude, they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel with some of these contracts and two ways and all this sort of thing. And I actually don't even think they can sign anybody else right now to some two-way deals. So like, I think this morning I was reading Kai Jones might be getting some burn at the 5 for them. Like it's getting pretty ugly right here from a position of strength when their 5 looks so strong in the past and then now. So long-winded way to say I think Joe Val's on the cover for good reason today. Obviously, his ADP is quite frothy, but he did just put up a 50 burger in his last time starting there. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of draftable pieces in this ball game, but yeah, Sabonis has been ruled out and will miss a little bit of time here, and that's the only one we got to worry about on that side. And then on the Mavericks side, I mean, all the 5s in Lively, Gafford, and AD, and then PJ Washington, who can sometimes play a little bit big for you, and Caleb Martin are both out as well there. So Kyrie has a high ADP, and he's the only one getting drafted, and then all the Kings pieces get drafted. Whom are some of your favorites, and what do you think of their ADPs?
Yeah, I really want to do the Joe Val stuff.
Okay.
Really want to do the Joe Val stuff, but he's like undoubtedly overpriced, but so is Mark Williams. But they're both just like a lot of fun. But I think Joe Val though, like there's just something about him being on the Kings, like the stint with his other stints just seemed like so blah, so fake, so like whatever. I think the Kings, just the way they play their rotations, like I think we're gonna see a good amount of Joe Val today in a really good matchup. At first I balked at the ADP and I was like, what are we doing here? And then I was like, oh yeah, like Sabonis is out playing the Mavs.
Yep.
Probably a lot of fun. But like, when is Joe Val ever let us down?
Yeah, only every slate ever in the 6th round. Hey, but this is a new era of Joe Val, Nez. This is only his second game with the Kings without Sabonis. We're blocking out all those past negative memories when he was with the Wizards and drew into the starting lineup, because there's so much more handling and so much more distraction away from the ball here that he can just feast underneath the hoop here.
Man, I think Joe Val is a lot of fun, and I'm not fading Joe Val. But I know what I'm getting into here.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You just know the high variance nature of this. I think Justin said it in the chat earlier that, people aren't factoring in how low the floor truly is with Mark Williams. This is also true of Joe Val. We don't know how low the floor actually is with Joe Val.
I feel like the floor is a lot safer with Mark Williams now. I did see that comment, and I just agree to disagree on the Mark Williams floor these days. But dude, the Kings though, like I thought Zach LaVine was going to project a lot better. I'm gonna have a ton of Zach LaVine today, though, dude. Like that is for sure. That is for sure. Like I just like no Sabonis. I mean, Sabonis wasn't a huge factor anyways these days. But I just thought Zach LaVine was gonna I thought so much was gonna just go Zach LaVine's way in this game with no Sabonis against Dallas. Like I just think this game can like low key be pretty fun.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, no, I respect it for sure, man. I definitely want like maybe not like one Sacramento player on every single team, but I definitely like, I'm fine with both these guys at ADP, and I'm also fine with putting Joe Val over Bridges if you want to, move Bridges down. If you want to move Bain a little bit, if you think Jaw's going to play and you move Jaw where his spot is, I do think the debate between like Bain and the Sacramento guys becomes a little bit tighter if Jaw is in. The other ones I got to ask about, because the hashtag models always fucking love Malik Monk. I don't know if we've adjusted yet. I don't know if I don't know, because right now he looks like one of the best jams relative to ADP, and he looks like a guy who's going to push up for me. Like I would rather just take Monk in DeRozan's spot than take DeRozan. But I don't know. Am I wrong in that thought process? Is this a guy we shouldn't be jamming?
I think DeRozan and Levine are like undoubtedly better projected plays.
Okay.
And cost adjusted, I mean, these guys are like it's hilarious like how like these guys are all separated by like a round,
Mhm.
or like they're all or by the guards, obviously not Joe Val. But like I think they're all fine picks, man. I don't know. Like Levine's falling quite a bit because like people are looking at projections and telling themselves Levine isn't a good play, but I'm just using my simple brain, my simple boy brain that says Sabonis out, like everybody gets pushed up. And I
Everybody
like
go
the
Bear.
matchup. I like
Okay.
the matchup. So like, but I think it's totally fair to say like why take expensive king when cheap king do the trick? Like I think
Right.
that's totally fine.
That's pretty funny. Um, I do want to bring up like my simple brain as well as sorry, let me click one thing here. Um, my simple brain is thinking the same, where it's like Dallas is just running out G Leaguer after G Leaguer here, and they're just pulling guys off the shelf. Why not just jam these guys against them, right?
So I'm saying, man, it sure
Yeah.
does just seem like, something to not be overthought.
hmm Yeah, because like I'm expecting their five today. Like they had Moses Brown, they signed from the Clippers, and then he comes out and he did that, like, what did he do? 20 and 10 and 5 stocks or something like this. Like they're gonna do Dwight Powell at the five today. They're gonna do like OMP. They're gonna do Kessler Edwards. They're gonna do Kai Jones if they get him signed. Like it could just be an absolute dumpster fire of attacking the rim for these guys, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like, yeah. Okay, let's talk about the other side here. Is there any reason to like anyone on the Mavs side outside of Kyrie Irving?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But trying to talk myself into anybody here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if like Najee, Christie, or if Najee or Christie ended up like having a nice game, but I'm not gonna use like waste a draft pick on them.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Is it too FPS fancy play syndrome to start scrolling to auxiliary Sacramento like Keon Ellis? We know he has a ceiling in certain matchups. Keegan Murray can fill it up from three. Like, is it too fancy play syndrome to be like, all these Sacramento pieces are getting drafted? Let me go take some contrarian Sacramento, and that's the guy you need.
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay. All right, cool. So staying condensed to the four, and for the Mavericks, kind of just Kyrie or bust. I guess I'd be remiss not to ask Nez, Kyrie ADP 3, in or out?
Like kind of in.
Okay.
I like Trey Young quite a bit, but I think Kyrie 3 is totally fine here in this spot.
I ran him at 5 last night in my first 30 or whatever I ended up doing. and got 0.
Did you have
So
Maxey over him?
I had Maxey over him as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking Kyrie over Maxey for sure.
Yeah. And then I had JJJ at 6, I think. So I got a lot of JJJ coupled with that. But to be fair, I haven't looked at my exposures yet, just like I haven't looked at my dinger exposures because I'm truly, truly sick. Guess how many dingers I've done, dude?
How many have you done? 69?
Oh, not a perfect score. But I think I've done like 60 something. I'm proud of myself right now. I'm pacing to max this year.
Nice, dude.
Thank you. I just need to say it. All right, Nez, we just got a big news dump here, as you guys are going to see on the right-hand side of the screen as I go back here for this last game. We got the Jazz and Pistons. Pistons traveling west to altitude, 10-point favorites on the road versus the Utah Jazz. I do want to just make sure with the schedule, this is back-to-back for the Jazz, as I alluded to, after they lost to New Orleans yesterday. I think it's front end. It is not front end. Detroit next plays the Clippers on Wednesday, so not front end back-to-back for Detroit. Have to catch myself there. But 231.5, and this could be a little bit of a dumpster fire rotation to parse through here because we just got Colin Sexton with the Q tag. We got John Collins listed out, doubtful. And then we got Clarkson and Markkanen listed as out. So that's making Walker Kessler at his current ADP more palatable. Yeah, and then does that bring in anybody else from Utah that we can start, considering, like Keontae George, who didn't have a great first half yesterday, but then still wound up with 37 fantasy points. Yeah, who do you like as the Utah side here?
Love Walker Kessler today.
Okay.
Walker Kessler today. I like Keontae in the 6th, and I like Collier in the 6th.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all, dude.
Yeah. These guys are fun. I just can't help myself.
Yeah.
With these Jazz pieces, dude. I simply cannot help myself.
Yeah, this is actually an interesting point from Nick that, like, yeah, even when they've been hella thin, we talked about this on whatever Friday or Wednesday show, that they still refuse to start Keynote. Like, they refuse to start Keontae. They just keep going with this Collier starting group, which is fine, but they bring in like Sensible, they bring in Filipkowski, they bring in all these. I mean, not that that's a 1-for-1 thing because he plays the 5, but like just talking about guys who they're really willing to bring into the starting lineup, like Johnny Zhang, Yu Zhang. Yeah, it's just interesting that for whatever reason, they're just like, nah, George is good as the 6th man. And he still finds his way to like 30-ish minutes, 32, 33 competitive game environments. But it's just very interesting that they refuse to start him for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying. Annoying. It works out okay, but it could work out better if they started him, don't you think? I mean,
right. Yeah.
I don't know, not a coach, but why not? You're tanking. Who cares? Let Keynote shoot.
Yeah, right. And I mean, they traded for KJ Martin as like one of those deals at the deadline there. They wound up with KJ Martin and they start him all the time. They're just like, yeah, I think they started him yesterday. They're just like, yeah, we'll play KJ Martin. It's like, well, maybe just give this Keynote guy who's been on your team all year some love here.
Yeah, what are we doing with the KJ Martin stuff? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Wow. Justin chiming in here. Jazz lost by 7 yesterday, and Filipkowski was -32. Wow. He was going in like every single draft at like ADP like 28 or whatever. And we took the lowers on him the 2 ago when he started because we were like, he's got a little bit of an offensive bag, but like that's kind of it. And then he smashed on that slate, and then he's been ass ever since. So directionally accurate, Nez, just wrong day. Okay, cool. Anything else you want to add on the Utah side outside of these names? No. Are you scared of Sexton at all? With the George stuff, because he has the Q tag, if he starts.
I don't know, man. It's just like the last time Sexton played, he only played a few minutes. I don't know what was up with that. Did he get hurt in the middle of the game or something? Is that what happened? He must have, right? I don't think they would
Must
just
have.
only play him 16, right? That
Yeah.
would be strange. Um, you know, I'm not drafting Sexton, but if I see a projection or something that says I should draft Sexton, I probably would. Oh, okay.
It's just it was rest and injury management and only played 17 after a 10 game absence. So maybe it is just a soft cap and they're managing the cautious with his recovery kind of thing. So even if he plays tonight and starts, non-zero chance he capped under 20 and you're going to get George minutes anyways.
Damn. That's a bitch. Just gonna ignore it.
Okay. Sounds good, but all right, let's talk about the other side of this ball game. That is the Detroit Pistons are perennially disrespected Detroit Pistons. You're seeing Cade go at the 102 and he's kind of just locked in there. I haven't seen him, push up or down very much today in general. But yeah, Cade is, the crux of this ball club. Malik Beasley gets shots up and he can fill it up from three. Jalen Duren has the tough Walker Kessler assignment, big on big there, but could be fun this evening at that 21 ADP. I think I would push the likes of Kessler and Chet over him right now. And then Asar Thompson with no Tobias Harris this evening. People anticipating he will draw into this starting lineup and play more than these kind of like 25, 26, 22 minutes in which he's been playing. And he's a guy who can fill it up across all categories. So people excited to click him in the 6th round right now. What are your thoughts on Detroit and draftable pieces relative to ADPs?
Yeah, I love Asar. I'm just like I'm not sure exactly like how usable he is here. Until he gets like in the 30-minute range, the ceiling is just really really low. But he gives you decent outputs for a 6 rounder. Duren and Cade I love today. Cade's my 102. Duren, I mix and match around all those big guys that go in that same spot that he does, and I'm really into him today.
Cool. Yeah, respect it. No love for any other Detroit auxiliary piece.
If you want to do Beasley and have some fun, you can, but I don't draft Malik Beasley.
Feels like a fun catch and shoot pick 'em play today.
Something like that.
Yeah. Thoughts on the Cade 101 potential here?
I tell you what, man. Today will probably be the day that Cade 101 gets home. I've tried fading Shea 101 on like 3 straight slates, and it hasn't mattered. So
Oh man.
just take Shea 101 and stop trying to overthink Shea is what I'm learning.
All right. Sounds good to me there. That is 7 ball games with all the Q-Tags in the land. Yeah, man, we mixed in some injury reports in real time there. By the looks of it, we have everybody's now. So that's good. Just going to reiterate for people that Houston, all those Q-Tags also associated with all those Q-Tags is it is front end back to back. They are at Pacers tomorrow. So that's one thing to think
Are
through.
they?
Yeah. Another one to think through with the Warriors stuff is they're at the Garden tomorrow. Atlanta plays tomorrow as well against the Bucks. Yeah, so definitely some play-in implications there. So just floating these things out into the ethos so that the people have all the knowledge.
I'll say this.
Uh-huh.
If the Rockets sit, I want Cade more than I want Shea.
That checks out. I mean, they're already 10-point favorites. They've already had Chet ruled in. They're on the second night of a back-to-back after J-Dub went nuke. Yeah, I am a little surprised the way in which the injury report broke for OKC. I will say that.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right, I need to use the restroom before we do these drafts.
All right, I'm hopping in with or without you, bro. Oh, misclick. Gonna fill abundance of lobbies by accident. Never by accident. Guys, there was some rumors going around this morning just about some people having some difficulties with logins and that sort of thing. Just know that it is being known and discussed, and engineers at Underdog are aware of it. I personally didn't have any of those issues. I imagine it's something to do with one location service, but I have no insight as to why or what's going on there. So just reiterating what I'm hearing, but it's definitely being worked on at this time. What's going on? Best Ball Josh dropping by, back in the NBA streets today. Love to see it. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, let's check some other stuff out. Actually, guys, if you haven't checked out Josh's stuff, the Best Ball overlay, go check out the Best Ball overlay. Turbotron saying it wasn't a rumor, but it's been resolved for him now. Jump Free saying it's working in the Chrome browser. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Tuna asking what your favorite draft position is today. 1 or 6, I think. 1 and kind of catching some of those falling Q-tags is nice, or 6 and getting the kind of back end of the Trey Maxi tier and pairing it with either Hero or JJJ tend to be my favorites thus far. I'm team Trey over Maxi right now. I could see the argument for either. Highest total on the slate, pace up game environment. Trey has been filling it up in recent memory. He was getting his shot up. He had back 38-point games. Yeah.
Trey Young.
Took Trey over Maxi. What are your thoughts, Nez?
Yeah, I've been doing that.
Be interested to see what our guy Chris does on the end here.
It's so weird that Trey had like that stretch of massive scoring, and then he's up against the Grizzlies, and the Pick Ems are just relatively the same.
And some of those matchups were like spots that we thought would be paced down and bad. Like one of them was Orlando. Remember the Orlando one? And he still put up 28 or 29.
So
like,
weird.
Yeah, Trey. When Trey decides to score, Trey can just fucking score, right? But like, I don't know what the positive correlation in him determining to score versus determining to pass is, right? Like, it couldn't possibly just be like Vit being in or out, right?
No.
We got Steph Curry here with I'm fine with it. I think I kind of want to take it. Not gonna lie, Nez. I'm buying into this little narrative of his dad watching, his brother on the other side. I'm in on it.
I think you just take Steph, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know I just went to the bathroom. I need to grab like a protein bar. I just got hit with like some hunger pangs that are out of this world. I'm sorry. This is I need this.
Nez shitting his pants in real time and making up excuses on the fly is a fun bit, guys. Interesting to see Melo going at 12. Obviously, he is in a great spot, but couldn't you just see Steph and Melo going back and forth, hawking up threes tonight?
When's the last time Melo actually had a good game?
Oh, it's been a while. It has been a while. Desmond Bane going there at 14 seems good, seems fine. Levine goes there. We could start playing the Q-Tag game with like John Morant, for instance, or we could think about putting up Joval. What do you like, Nez?
Joval seems fun.
I'm good with it. If Joval starts this evening, which we're anticipating, right? We're anticipating this like 28 to 29 minutes. I don't imagine they do anything funky with fucking Trey Lyles or something stupid like that. I do think this is just start Joval at the 5, play big minutes. Would you rather have 28 minutes of Joval this evening going up against the likes of Kai Jones and Dwight Powell, good Canadian kid, Would you rather have that, or would you rather have 31 minutes of John Morant this evening?
I mean, I would love to have 31 minutes of John Morant against the
Okay.
Hawks.
You'd rather have 31 minutes of Ja tonight than 28 of Jovel?
Yes. Yes. But he has a questionable tag.
I don't know, man. I think I might be on the Jovel side of the equation right now, and I'm the resident John Morant stan.
You're on crack, brother.
I
You're on crack.
I don't know, man. I'm scared of what Ja's been doing recently. That being said, this feels like an absolute smash in the 4th round here to just take the gamble on it, especially when it's correlated with Trey.
This is a good pick.
Yeah. That checks out there. Joval, the face of the league. Joval PRA 35.5. No fucking chance.
Ja, brother.
Oh, Ja. Nick, let me have fun, dude. Let me have fun. The kids these days want me to be serious all show long. Let me have fun. Leech, appreciate this, man. Guys, send some love to
SPFS
Leech.
King A24, by the way.
Oh, he's changed up his screen name?
Yeah, no, he's branded to a new persona of Leech
Ooh.
Lattice.
I respect it. Nez, we both are kind of out on green. Chet's starting to go ahead there. Denny Avdia or Malik Monk would be my
I go
pick.
Denny here.
You like Denny more than Monk this evening?
Yeah, I think so, man.
No worry
They're
that
both, they're both pretty similar, but you know, 1v1, I'm taking Denny.
Okay. Yeah, I respect that for sure. Interesting to see Big Mike taking Jalen Duren there at 20.
Yeah, I would do that too.
So he's playing John Morant out. So you like Jalen Duren more than John Morant this evening?
I mean,
at this point in time with the Q-Tag.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, I think the Duren spot is just so awesome.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Jalen Green going to Chris on the end there. Kind of seems like the spot in which he's been going. Yeah, I mean, we can kind of just get funky with it now, dude. Like there's kind of like a big projection line in the sand for me here, and you can kind of just do whatever you want. There goes Keynote getting pushed up. Respect that. There's Shaden Sharp getting pushed up. Scroll the F down in the last round. I don't think Kelly O plays tonight, so Grimes is fine. Who do you like here, dude?
Let's do you already did Denny. You want to do Wiggins? I saw you hovering over old Wiggy there. Let's get it.
Yeah, I kind of like the thought that, Wiggins without bodies going up against Washington. I'm a little scared that after missing a couple games, and if this is a non-competitive game environment, that he only plays 28, 27, like something like that, and then he's really capped. But yeah, I'm not totally opposed. I like it. I think everybody's looking at the box scores a little heavy from the Klingon stuff. Second night of a back-to-back going up against Yabu. Fouled out yesterday. He's fresh. Denny plays 42. Klingon only played 11. Let's get Klingon some touches versus the undersized 5 that is Yabu.
Oh man, wouldn't that just be like if you could just guarantee 30 minutes of Klingon? You'd be like my player 6 today. Bro, he would cook. Like I'm gonna have so much Klingon next year in the double dribble. I can already tell.
Oh yeah. Speaking of double dribble, guys, there's 4 weeks left in it. 5 weeks left in the final. There, make sure you're checking in on your teams. Unfortunately, I didn't get any of my 20 through. I believe I did 20 of those, but we got a couple puck ones that we got through. But Nez has got some horses that were looking nice.
Yeah, something decent. We'll see how this brand new week goes. But yeah, got one cooking. So that's cool. It's really all you can ask for.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna hop in one more here, and then maybe we could do a pick 'em or 2 at the end. But we could also save the money making portion of the program for the good people at Unabated for the Set the Screen show right after us. I just finished that one, or we just finished that one. We went with Trae Young. We went with Steph Curry. We went with John Morant. We went with Joval, um, Denny Avdia, and Andrew Wiggins. So a lot of household names on that one. Not bad. Not bad.
It's a goofy
Interesting.
one.
Yeah, interesting questions in the chat here. If Santi Aldama is out this evening, can you get to any Zach Edey in the last round? Expecting JJJ to kind of like play some more of the 4 and then them rotate like Brandon Clark and Edey as a 2-man 5 rotation, something like that, like split the 24. Edey never closes, but might need some size against Oneka. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's decent thought process. I'm just not doing that.
Okay.
I just haven't seen enough usage out of Edey this season, really. So
sounds good to me. Fired up another one here. We got some friends and family. Inthrius, who's going to be in the dog bowl there. Chad, who's been around for a long time. T-Box, the legend himself, and then a couple non-Badgers here. Maxi here is kind of like an end of a tier for me. Do you agree, Nez?
No.
Oh, interesting.
No,
Okay.
it's fine. It's fine. I'll just say because we had zeros on the clock.
Is it actually not an end of a tier for you? You like JJJ there more? You like Hero
I've been
there
taking
more?
like JJJ there. I've got a ton of Jaren Jackson Jr. today. Just
okay.
in abundance.
Sounds good. Isaac flipping the board and getting contrarian on the right side there, putting Steph and Mark Williams together as some game correlation. Do you like Hero or JJJ here alongside Maxi?
JJJ.
Okay, cool. Hero versus Bam straight up. Who do you prefer this evening?
Hero.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can already see the unabated projections in my mind that those two will be like right beside each other at like 8-9 or 7-9, and you flip a coin between the two of them kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Nothing better, absolute sauce. Nothing better than relying on John Morant and Paul George in 2025. I mean, it's true, man.
It's damn true.
Yeah. Jaw's got the second highest fantasy points per minute on the slate. That checks out. That checks out.
Who's number 1? Jonas Valanciunas.
Yep. Here's my guy Brandon McNair telling me, face of the league. Every kid grows up wanting to be Joe Val. Nez, we could do a little game correlation with Dyson Daniels. I'm kind of soft fading Miles Bridges today. We could do Joe Val again. Ahmed Thompson. Duran, you said you liked. Who do you like?
Let's do Dyson here.
All right. Dyson and play that alongside the JJJ.
Let's see what this psycho does here at the 3-4. This guy's out of control, unhinged, wild card.
Maybe he goes full game stack and takes Bridges and something. Oh, he likes Joe Val too.
Okay.
Ahmed Thompson this evening against OKC. Is that a stopgap for you, or do you like pushing up Duran, Kessler, Chet, one of those guys instead?
I kind of want to do Duran.
All right, let's do it. I've been taking Ahmed thus far today. I mean, there's an interesting thing about the Rockets today is if you get no Sengun and you get Ahmed in, and then you get kind of like a mix mash of like Tari Eason in, Adams in, like, not all 5 of them have to play, right? That like Ahmed's going to project like he's going to project where J-Dub's going, right? If you get Sengun ruled out. So
yeah, Sengun out, him in, yeah.
Yeah. So there's ways that the Rocket stuff could break that Ahmed looks really good. If you get everybody in today and you get Ahmed as like, second option versus OKC with everybody in, it's probably going to he's not going to gain that much CLV.
It's a good point.
We got Chet to fall back to us. Wow. Chet's still going down here. So I think we just take Chet.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think
definitely.
I would not be taking Jalen Green over Chet, but if you're playing, he's not at full, and the ankle coupled with where he's at physically is just prior to the ankle.
Yeah, I
Is
would
like
bet Chet has like a projection of like 35.
okay. Kind of in the same predicament again here with the scrolls in the last round. Some of the sharp people were taking sharp. We could take George again, or not again, but like in general, Simons, Wiggins.
Let's do Simons. What do you think?
Sure. I mean, if you like Simons more than Sharp this evening, sure.
I think I do. I would mix and match, but yeah, I think I prefer Simons.
Okay. Yeah, they went to overtime last night. 42 minutes for Denny, 41 minutes for Simons. Scoot was basically rotationary only. Anticipate Sharp starting this evening. I'm going to get a Klingon or two in the last round.
You should. You really should.
Yeah. Yeah, take Karis LeVert to feel alive. I mean, that's a fun way to get to the highest total game on the slate that nobody else is getting to. Here's a good question for you, Nez. Max number of pieces you would take from Memphis Atlanta this evening.
Five? I don't know. I'm not gonna avoid it.
we saw a very similar slate dynamic in terms of spreads and totals. What was it? Wednesday? No,
Whenever
maybe
Johnny
Monday.
Football is one.
Yeah, Monday last week. And it was like one game was projected for like 20 points higher, and it went to overtime, and it played over its total in the Suns versus Memphis. And 5 pieces from that game got you home. If somehow that game stays, really close and finds its way to overtime, I mean, Trey plus JJJ plus Dyson, because it's really hard to get the other pieces in it. It's a little bit harder than when it was that previous slate. But if you get a falling jaw in a room and you get him in the 4th round or something, like DFS King suggesting jaw in the 5th just fell to him. I mean, if you get something like that, I mean, I'm more than happy to take 4 or 5.
Like a very conceivable start would be Trey, Jaw, Dyson, Onyeka. So I guess 4 is like the most like realistic.
Reasonable. Yeah.
I'm not like if I get 4, I'm not like Karis LeVert 6th round has to. Like that's
have to have it.
He's a must.
Yeah. I'm kind of in lockstep with Emwell here. I'm worried about Denny. Last time Portland went to overtime, played 40 minutes. He only played 22 the next day.
Didn't they play like a really shitty opponent that game?
I can't recall. I mean, there's definitely some more context needed to that one. Was that one of the games that he left early too? There was that happened a couple times.
That was a weird one. That was a weird one for sure.
Yeah. Like this is Emily said you got a Trey, JJJ, Bane, and Aneka. Like that's a sick start. I mean, I haven't been able to get Bane to come back to my Trey, JJJ teams. And why not just put on Aneka when you do that? Like that's fun.
Yeah, damn, that's a nasty start.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. We got to take LeVert. What up, Nick Bach? What's up? Been seeing him in the baseball streets recently. Guys, tons of baseball. That's true. It's true. The couple ropes. Been seeing a lot of people in the baseball streets recently. It's awesome to see a lot of content circulating. People drafting dingers right now. So good to see. I did hear Rates and Barrels. Our guy Vlad Settler was on Rates and Barrels on Friday there, filling in for Eno, and he referenced Underdog's ADP a couple times there. So baseball is really growing, man. Baseball is really growing.
Let's go.
Yeah. Okay, Nez, I think maybe we go into the pick'em lobby for a half second here, and we stretch a couple more minutes out of this to make sure we get synced up with the Set the Screen guys there at Unabated here. Anything that was popping for you in the pick'em lobbies?
I think Tyrese Maxey lowers.
Ooh. Nez is not buying a man shooting with only 3 fingers. Lower on the PRA?
Something's got to give. PRA, fantasy points, something's got to give here.
Okay. I respect it. I'm pulling up the market-based stuff on Unabated. Obviously, their projections will be out in half an hour's time, which cues the money-making portion of the program on their side. I'm seeing a slight higher for Isaiah Collier and for Kevin Looney. Wow. To see if these are available here. Let's see if we can get let's see what Isaiah Collier's got here. Not quite. They were showing a higher on 9.5 points. That has changed a little bit, and we're getting a little push down multiplier, so maybe not. A Kev Looney, interesting here. Kev Looney in the rebounds department, showing a little bit of love on this one. Nah, they have it down at 4.5. Can't go any lower than that. So that one's not going to be a good one for us there. Playing from your heart, Nez. Anything else standing out to you?
Collier double.
Oh, okay. That's a same thesis, different sausage. Let's see. He was 1 assist away yesterday, I believe.
2
assists away yesterday. Double as a 189 there. Yeah, I made it up, Eggers. I fucking make it up every show. I make things up every day. Dude, add a Cade triple-double to this.
You got a stew brewing.
Yeah, let's see. Cade triple-doubles at 10.
It's going to max out. Oh, let's go.
Yeah, 115. Small unit one. That is a lot of fun. Cade doing the heavy lifting in that ball game. Yeah. Yeah, here you go. Juice McCaffrey saying he missed the whole show, but he hopped in at the perfect time for the maxi lowers.
Tuna's not wrong. I did post a maxi slider because there's a difference. There's a difference. It's a slider. What if maxi is fully healthy and they're shorthanded? You know, I slid it up 32.5 points. It's not the same. It's not the same thing. It's a long shot. It's 100x. There's 100x. I'm allowed to have 2 varying opinions for wide-ranging returns.
That is the Nez hedge of my generation right there. I'm listening to the chat here. Chat kind of quiet on the plays today. The people in the chat are a little shook to be giving their opinions on the plays right now. I'm noticing this.
I got another one for you.
Oh yes, I'm listening, Nez. Let me get one little plug out of the way here. Almost 300 of us hanging out right now. Please hit that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. We're going to be bringing a bunch of content your way. Double headers both today and tomorrow. And following us today, that link in the chat right there, the link in the bio below. And if you are hanging out watching this, you will be automatically funneled over to the good people at Unabated for the Set the Screen show. So tons of basketball content still to come today. All right. What are you thinking, Nez?
Jalen Green lowers.
Oh, good one. Good one. Play all of those Q-tags as in tags.
And even if they're not,
yep,
I still don't think Jalen Green in enough time, you know, if it's a blowout, don't see him doing enough. I like the PRA.
Yeah, PRA feels good because we know he can fill it up as a scorer, but even when he has like a lead handling role, like he just doesn't dime it up all that much. So like,
yeah. You could even do just assist if you wanted to, but I think PRA feels fine.
Okay, let's do PRA. People are talking up Kessler in the chat. If I had to pick one with Kessler, it'd be boards. Double, we're getting sonked on. Fantasy points at 38. That one feels good. He's been kind of crushing that in recent memory. I would take boards or fantasy points here if we wanted to mix in a Kessler one.
I'd say boards.
Okay. Boards, it is. No worries about the Duran matchup in that one. Who else can we kind of get ahead of in theory here? What about some of the Memphis stuff? We talked about liking that game a lot.
Yeah, Memphis is tough
Because of the
because
jaw
like
factor.
it's hard to know. Yeah, it's hard to know like how much jaw is affecting these. Is the jaw Q-tag baked in or not?
Mm-hmm.
Hard to say. I would lean it's not. So you could maybe try to get ahead on some of these hires with Memphis, but that's NFA, of course.
Yeah. How about we just play what everybody in the chat wants us to play here?
What's that?
Levert hires.
All right. Yeah.
PRA or points?
I think PRA.
All right. Okay. Here's a 6Xer, and then I'm doing what the chat has told me to do for the last one, and we'll call it a show, Nez.
All right.
This is our play the best plays one for today.
Yeah. This is the one you guys tweet out when you win 3 greens. You thank us and all that. Please.
Actually,
This is the publicity play.
I'm mixing in. Some of you guys might have this nice little boost one. 60% little boost to that. We get that 6 to 9, good omen, and then it's a max 100. Turning my 6s to 9s. Thanks to Underdog. Nez, how much Cooper flag do you have tonight? Are you guys in the streets?
Hold on. College basketball. Is it 4-person drafts? Oh, wow. Oh, I did not know that. Oh, wow. So, like, whenever there's no ADP, Cooper flag never projects as the 101, but, like, you got to have Cooper flag 101.
Cooper flag is the 101. Yeah.
Wow. Well, time to rank 24 players and auto draft it up.
I'm getting Aaron Wiggins feels free in the chat here. I'm assuming they're leading. I'm assuming they're leading.
I mean, like, we love Aaron Wiggins, but that is like such a hilarious thing to say. Like we're on once you get a free role player, that is just hilarious.
Yeah. Okay, we're playing the hits again. We're going back to that Maxi lower on the PRA, which is leading us to the Quentin Grimes, treating Kelly O as out hires. Do you prefer PRA or points for Quentin Grimes?
I think PRA doesn't. I feel like Grimes just kind of does a little bit of everything.
I agree with you. Mr. Kidboy is going off right now with this tail against the back.
He's going off.
Max Christie, lower rebound and assists. All right, chat is cooking right now. Lowers on the rebounds plus assists there, getting a little price in our favor. We can add one last one to that. Fifth round Chet with SGA. Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with it. Nez, you fine with pairing those two together this evening?
Yeah. I have no problem pairing Chet with SGA.
Okay. Smash the Denny higher on assists at 3.5. Now it's at 4.5. That doesn't help us, but nice closing line value. Almond double added to this could be fun. Or we could just add in the Jalen Green lower again.
Yeah, maybe. What if we do Jalen Green assist this time? What do you think?
I'm good with it.
Okay.
I don't think he's a good passer.
We are getting. Do it.
Yeah. I don't think he likes to pass. We are getting docked kind of heavily though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just do it again with the PRA.
All right.
because like in theory, the majority of his P, R, and A comprise of P. So,
Great,
All right.
great analysis.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. This is how you know it's sharp. We got some lowers in there. This is all courtesy of the community. Nez chiming in with these Jalen Green and Maxi lowers. And then community is vibing in there. That one's in the chat too. All right. That was fun. Clyde Kyrie points to 39.5. Holy smokes. We got to tie a bow on this one because Set the Screen is ready to go live. Nez, let's celebrate the end of this show with our guy Johnny Footballs, aka Johnny Basketballs, who had a really nice week on the platform last week. Took down one of the contests, gifting out 5 BadgeBros memberships. I believe that is taking us north of like 500 total members now, and we will do right by you. Do right by you guys the next 2 days here. We will have some basketball behind the paywall. We will have some baseball behind the paywall. We'll be mixing and matching the next 2 here. Did talk to Pete during this show. Think Off and On the Clock will be Friday from San Diego there in tandem with the Dog Bowl. So we're not losing it Off and On the Clock. It's just returning to a different spot now. Hopefully we can get Nez in there. I don't know what the technology is going to be setup wise, but we should be able to make it a 3-man, I think.
You better.
All right, guys. Sending you on your way to the Unabated show. Hit a like, follow, a subscribe, a notification before you guys go on over there. Any last parting words for the people, Nez?
Whew, I'll see you in the lobbies, and let's get these injury reports. What do you say?
That sounds good to me. All right. Everybody's favorite time of the show. The end. Peace. Enjoy fan, SBK, and John.